Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Well, this time, I thought I would show you another little handful of comics from my TBR, my to be read box. And so just take a little look at some of these, and then in the next few weeks probably be seeing some of these in closer detail. And we'll start off with this one from 1988, Power of the Atom, number 9. Actually, it is 88. Its cover date is February 89, so it came out in 88. Everything in it is 88. Of course, this is by Stern, Nolan, and Wilson. Cover illustration by Graham Nolan. I like this. I remember this series when it came out, and I had gotten a few issues at the time. I enjoyed it. It wasn't spectacular or anything. I like all the creators involved. I like this cover though, because here's the Atom taking Guy Gardner down a peg, because it's guest starring the Justice League International. But one thing I do remember from this run of the Atom, which didn't last very long, was I was reading some, and then this is the only thing I remember from that run, from having read it, is for some reason the Atom had shrunk himself down, and he was riding on a blood cell through somebody's bloodstream for whatever purpose it was. I think it was like a Fantastic Voyage type storyline. And on riding on that blood cell, he reached his hand out to the side of the blood vessels and and got little bits of plaque, and he commented on this guy's been eating too many fries. Now it's funny, that's just a little cheesy little gag in the book, but it's the only thing that I remember from this run of Power of the Atom. Now isn't that funny? I can get a little look inside here. Of course, it has Atom, I want you to join Justice League International Victory Day. Roger Stern, Graham Nolan, Casey Wilson, inker. Names I can't get. And this is what the at the height of the newer version of the Justice League. That had a lot of interpersonal humor involved, often involving Guy Gardner getting his comeuppance, and like the time when Batman smacked him a good one, took him by surprise and smacked him and knocked him out. Power of the Atom. This is about the same time. This is still from 88. Starman, number 1. Amazing debut issue. Roger Stern again with Tom Lyle. And this is, I think, this was some early stuff by Tom Lyle. He's never my favorite. I think he's a fine artist. Actually, I kind of like his stuff. His stuff is a little bit on the stiff side, at least at this point. But he was a fine artist. Did an admirable job on the artwork. And of course, this is one of the many versions of Starman that DC has had. They've had so many completely different characters, completely different powers, called Starman. But it's an easy name, easy title. So then right here we have from First Comics, 1 of 4, Michael Moorcock's Jewel in the Skull. It's adapting the Michael Moorcock novel. It's written by Jerry Conway. He's doing the adaptation with the art by Rafael Cayanan and Alfredo Alcala. Some nice artwork. It's like very detailed. And sometimes I think sometimes there's so much detail that stuff, what's going on gets kind of lost. But it's some really nice work. And of course, Jerry Conway has done a lot of writing for, I think it was Conan. I think it was in Savage Sword, primarily. So, and this is from '86, I think it was. Yep, '86. Then we have, this is from about the same time period, First Comics, Dynamo Joe, #1, special #1. And of course, Dynamo Joe had been in an anthology. Was it an anthology or a backup story? I can't remember now. It is mecha, giant robot, fighting spacey stuff. And it has all, just talking about all the stuff. And these stories, I think, because these are more than one story, or at least chapters of an overall story. And I think it was originally done for the shorter format publication. Created by Doug Rice, and he's the artist. Don't know that much about it. Dynamo Joe. Of course, following on the heels of all those popular mecha anime shows at the time. And for some strange reason, all of a sudden, the name even escapes me. But you know what I'm talking about. And here, I showed an Airboy the last time I did one of these. This was that was in a haul video, and I said I had a couple of them. This is from Eclipse Comics #8 of Airboy. This was very early in its revival run, because he is, of course, a Golden Age character. Here on the back cover, ad for Dave Stevens Posters, and you can see why. And this was, okay, yeah, written by Chuck Dixon. He's got his own YouTube channel. And Stan Voch was the penciler. Down in the Darkness. And of course, these were done bi-weekly, and each issue was about half the size. So, but it was bi-weekly. Then sometime later, here he is from, yeah, still from Eclipse, Airboy #3 from just a little over a year later. But it's monthly, and the issues are regular full length. Zot, ad for Zot. Some nice artwork, and it's been so long since I've read any of these. I can't vouch for the quality of the story, but I'm sure it's still written by Chuck Dixon, so it's probably pretty good. Then we go to, this is from King Hell and Tundra by Rick Veitch, the Maximortal. And of course, this is this is from 1993. He even has an imitation of a panel from Superman, because he is a Superman type character. But here we go. The True Man, the Maximortal, is True Man. And it's about that comics, but it's also about the actual character, the home of True Man. Who's of course supposed to be Superman, and the making of an actual, the real character. I don't remember. Here we go, from Epic Comics, from 1983, Coyote #1. By Steve Englehart and Steve Leialoha, the Steves. All new, all primal, first issue. and has wraparound cover. And I think Steve Leialoha's art works pretty well for this. His style, slightly different style and stylization. He's done a lot of good stuff, and it's kind of funny because it's in a way, because of course Coyote, and it's steeped in Native American Southwestern lore and stuff. Whether it's real or pseudo, I don't know. But that course is getting a little bit loud. But it's kind of ironic in a way, because of course Steve Leialoha is I recall, part Hawaiian. So he's Native American Hawaiian about the Native American Indian stuff. So it has a certain irony and to that aspect. But they're all natives and American. Here we go. From Boom. This is from 2012, I think it was. Ste and Mrs. Peele. So Ste and Peele. And maybe, depending on how old you are, you may not know. So, who the heck is Ste and Peele? Well, they have to use that name because Marvel's got the lock on the Avengers. Even though the Avengers TV show from the 1960s, I'm using the name Avengers, predates the Avengers comic book, but not in America. It was a British series, had John's spy type, espionage type show. It got to in its middle of its run, got to the campy side, during the time of and extremely popular when it came to finally came to America, because it was John Steed, and he had associates with him. Almost like the Doctor and his companions. Well, he had, and they were, except for the first one, female companions, and they would leave to do James Bond movies. and of course, the lady was always the muscle of some. And I'm not sure if this is supposed to still be taking place in the 60s or in contemporary times. Did a pretty good job on result, because Mrs. Peele, of course, is Emma Peel, played by Diana Rigg on TV. She is the best loved and best known of the associates, so that's why it's Ste and Peele. I think they even did one or two comics based on American comics based on the show in the 60s. I might be misremembering. They also had to call that Ste and Peele, because of Marvel's lock on the Avengers. Even though they had the Avengers movie about 20 years ago featuring these characters. So you look up the Avengers, all you're going to find for movies, unless you look really hard, all you're going to find is the Marvel Avengers movies. But before the first Marvel Avengers movie, there was an Avengers movie of Ste and Peele. And then we're going to close this out with Brothers of the Spear. This was what, number 17? Did I say 16? 16 from 1977. Gold Key Comics. Great George Wilson cover painting. Of course, some nice jungle adventures. Now, through most of the run of the Brothers of the Spear title, individual title, which was published quarterly, it was drawn by Jesse Santos. At some point here, I guess Jesse had left. He also did cover paintings. At some point, I guess he left, and now at this point it was being done by Dan Spiegel, who, of course, a great artist, did virtually everything, and if anybody left, he kind of took over. And of course, the Brothers of the Spear started out as a backup in Tarzan and Korok at Gold Key. And then when they lost the license to the Burroughs properties, they brought Brothers of the Spear to its own title to help take up some of that slack. So some good stuff, and I haven't read this one yet, and although I have several of them elsewhere. So that is what I've got to share with you this time with my to be read box, and this ran longer than I had intended it to. So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Which of these books would you be most interested in seeing me go deeper into? I'm going to some of them anyway in the next few weeks, but it would be nice to know what ones you would like the best. So let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.